to write his story, to bring hope, to bring light into this present darkness.
The light is found in words that are familiar to mass-goers, the writings of St. Paul, an apostle of Christ. Now a major motion picture dramatically captures the final days of the man whose letters account for much of the New Testament.
People can really look at Paul maybe for the first time and say, wow, this is a real living human being that's just like me.
Andrew HYATT is the film's director and writer.
Where sin abounds, grace abounds more.
The movie finds Paul languishing in a prison cell, facing death at the hands of the Roman Emperor Nero. Actor James FAULKER is Paul.
He is haunted by the images of those that he has persecuted as a young man. In a sense, that's why he was chosen, because he was such an awful individual.
He wasn't always Paul. He had been known as Saul, a Roman enemy of Christians. He changed on the road to Damascus when God caused his conversion.
Saul, the greatest persecutor, I mean, really like the father of persecution of the Christian church. And yet the Lord kind of took a hold of his heart and said, and looked at him and said, I want you, you're mine, and had that radical 180-degree conversion.
The film, being screened at Manhattan's Catholic Sheen Center, finds the gospel writer Luke visiting Paul. Luke's mission is to write about the birth of the church and to preserve Paul's letters. A dangerous task, because Nero vowed to rid Rome of all vestiges of Christianity by any means necessary.
What do you really know about these Christians?
The first century Christians were dealing with what a lot of modern day people are dealing with, being persecuted for their faith, and especially, and violently, not just, being laughed at on the street. So to read Paul's words with that, it kind of profoundly moved me in a very different way that I'd ever kind of considered.
Cruelties upon him, and he'd done it himself as a young man. And his ability to come through that and still be able to love his fellow man.
Sort of an emotional connection.
Following the screening, members of the audience talk about the inspiration of St. Paul.
I feel like it'll touch more people on a more personal level, and then that'll kind of strengthen their faith too.
If we can even be just an iota filled with Christ the way St. Paul was, then I think that's just an amazing thing for the world.
Love is the only way.
The film, Paul, Apostle of Christ, will be released the Friday before Holy Week on March 23rd. In Manhattan, Katie Engesser, Currents News.